Have you ever woke up and thought, just let me get through today? Looked at that person in the mirror and said, I don't even know who that is anymore. You have been so busy surviving that you forgot who you are. You forgot how to dream. You forgot how to do anything more than survive. If that is you, I'm just Janae, and this is Dreams Don't Expire. All that you want is still out there waiting for you. Dare to dream again with me.
Why do so many people find it so hard to ask for help or even accept help? I know when my son was paralyzed and in the hospital, we had a lot of people offering help, offering to bring in food, offering to help change our house so we could get home, get it wheelchair ready, right? And I turned it all down. Why? Oh my gosh. It would have made my life so much easier. It would have made things so much better for my family. I was at the hospital from 8 in the morning to 8 p.m. Every single day, 7 days a week for, almost 2 months. We had dinner 9, 10 o'clock every night. If I had accepted help, my family could have ate dinner at a decent time. My time at home could have been spent doing other things that needed to be done. Instead, I'd come home, make dinner, we'd eat, then I'd do all the other things that needed to be done, getting done midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning to go back at the hospital and be there by 8. So it was hectic. I suffered from it. My family suffered from it. Why? Why did I take a hard time and make it harder? What possible logical reason would there be for that? Well, there isn't, because not allowing help is not logical, right? It's more a feeling of insecurity, right? If I allow help, it says I may be perceived as incapable. I already had so much on my plate. Do you think anybody would have perceived me as being incapable but me? Probably not. Unfortunately, we are our own worst critics, right? We are our own worst everything. So, yeah, I had to show that I could handle everything. I had to show that I could learn how to help my son with all of his now new needs. Had to learn how to pick him up off the floor if he fell. I had to learn to make his life better. And so if I had help during all that, nobody would have judged me. Not a soul but me. Because heaven forbid I had help during a hard time. That's what we've taught ourselves. Some people are really good at allowing help and asking for help. I was not one of those, and I'm still getting there, right? The other reason we might not is because we want to show we're self-reliant. But you know what? It's okay to be self-reliant as long as you are doing it to grow. If you are doing it because you don't want to admit you're less than or admit failure, that self-reliant is not helping you. I just got through doing my book, right? And I figured out how to do the cover, and I figured out how to format, and I was way out of my league, and I definitely did it the hardest way possible, and I could have got help. Now, for me this time, it wasn't because I had something to prove. It was because I knew I needed that growth. Technology is one of my worst areas, and I know where I want to go now. I'm going to need to know some of this. So I did it myself because I wanted that growth. When I decided, I was looking going, I could have called my grandson Caden in because he is pretty good at this technology stuff. But I didn't, because I knew I'm doing podcasts. I knew I have so many other things I'm doing. I need to learn as much about technology as I can. And so I did it myself. Now, hindsight, had I asked him to come, and show me how to do it? Could I maybe found better ways to do it? Maybe, but through all of my wrong ways, right? I learned a lot of things that were not the right way to do it. And it took me like 14 times to format my book. It probably didn't need to take me 14 times, but each single time that I formatted, I learned something new. And I'm one of those learners, I got to do it the hard way. You can't show me. If you show me, you then have to turn around and have me do it. I've got to be able to physically do it in order for me to understand and remember. So me going the hard way around and doing it all myself is really how I learn best. And if I'm going to remember it, that's how I needed to do it. So now that I got a general idea, I may now get my grandson out here to help find easier ways, right? But it just made me so much more comfortable with my computer and with technology that I knew this is the way I needed to go, even if it took me longer and even if it made me more frustrated. The other part was I needed to see that when it was hard, I was going to battle through. I needed to see that my growth has been enough that I wasn't going to give up. So, yeah. But when you are being self-reliant because you don't want anybody to think you're going to fail, that is hurting you. And again, accepting help is its own kind of strength, guys. So that strength of being self-reliant isn't always the best strength. Sometimes we feel shame and guilt, right? We have been taught that not being able to do it by yourself makes you less than. Now, here's the thing. A lot of what you get taught is from your parents. And I want you to know, as a parent myself, I didn't intentionally teach my children this. Did they learn it? Maybe, probably. One, because that's how I am. And you learn by example, right? But also, I'm giving these beautiful children without any instructions. And I'm just trying to do the best I can with the knowledge I have. And I probably got better as my kids came along, right? My oldest probably got the worst because, sorry, Kyle, but you were my learning curve, And so did I probably do something that taught my kids a lesson I didn't want to teach them? Oh, absolutely. If they are screwed up, it is my fault. I know that. Is not what I wanted, but that's the reality. Is sometimes when I told my kid, no, you made that mess, you clean it up, it was because I wanted them to take responsibility and not punt it off on their little brother, right? But did I subconsciously teach them you can't have help? Probably, right? I was trying to teach the value of hard work, but I might have also taught that the value of hard work means you can't do anything with help. And so we need to change that. If my children feel guilty and shamed for asking for help, I about guarantee it was my fault. And so if any of my kids are watching this, it's okay to ask for help. That's what I'm here for. That's what your dad's here for. That's what your friends are here for. Because I guarantee if I needed help, you guys would be the first ones there. And you helping me is no different than me helping you. Cultural experiences sometimes make us not ask for help. Some cultures are really good about doing things together. Back in the day, they had barn raising parties and the whole community would come. And a barn would be put up in a day. And nobody thought less than of the people they were building the barn for. What an amazing concept. They had help from the entire community, and there was no shame. There was no, why couldn't he do it himself? It was, all right, because they knew the next barn that needed to go up, the whole community would be there for another person, and that person was there helping today. We need to get okay with that. The more we do things together, the better we are. When I was working in leadership, we would have leader meetings and we would go And we would take the site manager and the assistant site manager, and we would do exercises every week. They were growth exercises, and they never knew what it was going to be. And so one day we'd had the site manager, and they had them put their arms out like that. And we took and we piled as much as we could, one at a time, on each arm. And we said, keep your arms out and hold it as long as you can. And they're holding it. And we're sitting there talking to the assistant manager. Hey, how are things going? Just having a casual thing. And then we go add another weight onto that site manager. And we're like, you good? And they're like, mm-hmm. And you could see it was getting hard. And they're not going to ask for help. Need any help? Nope. All right. And then you see their arms start quivering. And you could see that it was really getting to be a lot of weight. And we're like, just hold that for a minute. And then we'd sit and start talking and chatting and having a good time with that assistant. And the assistant's laughing with us, but watching. And we're talking to him, and we're like, would you like to help? And they're like, yeah. And I said, it'd be really nice to be able to help, wouldn't it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, but they're taking it all on themselves. They're holding the entire weight by themselves. Do you think you could be more help to them if you took part of it? And they're like, yeah. And I said, it's too bad they don't let you, isn't it? And they're like, yeah. And then I'd go up to the site manager and I'd say, they're waiting. They're waiting to take part of this off. You just have to communicate. You have to be willing to allow them to help you. If you do not allow them to help you, this weight will be like this on your shoulders and your shoulders alone the rest of the time. And guess what? This site is never going to run as good as it can, because instead of having that weight among two people, you're holding it all yourself, and they feel none, and they feel no value. And you could see the wheels turning, and then say, are you ready to ask for help? And they're like, yeah. And I said, you want to give some of that weight up? Yep. Ask. Tell them what you need. Tell them how they can help you, because they don't know what part to take that is going to be the most help for you. So tell them which part to take. And as we slowly added to the assistant, you could see the wheels turning. You could see the relief on both of them, because the assistant isn't having to watch that site manager take on everything, and that site manager isn't feeling the weight. And so it's so amazing what happens when you can help somebody understand that doing it together is so much better than doing it by yourself and taking all the weight off your shoulders and putting part of it on somebody else's is big. I mean, let's talk at home. I mean, yeah, it works great at work. But how do we do that at home? Well, gosh, as a mom, if I did it all myself, the whole house, all the kids, all the sports, everything they need, that's a lot. But if me and my husband share the weight, it becomes a little bit less, right? If we teach each of our kids to take on part of it themselves, hey, pick up your room. Hey, wash your dish and put it in the dishwasher. Oh my gosh, now everybody is putting towards the same thing, and the kids are helping. Well, why is that okay than allowing somebody in our circle to help us? Right? We're getting help both ways. Asking your kid to clean up after themselves and help in the house that they live in doesn't seem like a big deal. Asking your friend to help you with something that they're really good at seems like a harder deal. We need to change that perspective. The other thing is, we do let past experiences affect us. So if we ever had a time that asking for help made us feel less than, we are going to carry that with us. We need to change the belief in help. We need to normalize that not only is it okay to ask for help, it's okay to allow help. I've been struggling with both. I'm getting better. But it's sad how hard I've had to work at allowing help. Guys, we are a better society when we help each other out. And you can't help somebody unless they allow you to. So they can't help you unless you allow. And there is something amazing about helping somebody. We need to make it something amazing about being helped as well. We got a lot of hard things happening. Let's not make things harder by trying to do it all ourselves. It is okay to ask for help. It is okay to receive help, just as it's okay to give it. Let's not make help a 4-letter word. Let's make it an amazing, uplifting thing, whether you're on the receiving or the giving end. We need to come together better, and it starts by help. So get out there, ask for help instead of carrying it all on your shoulders. It is going to take so much pressure off of you. And as you're getting that help and you see that person that's helping you smile, know that you are responsible for that smile, and take pride in that and leave it at that.
Hey, thank you for having watched that episode of Dreams Don't Expire. I'm just Janae, reminding you, this is your time to rise. Your time to believe in who you are, to become who you are meant to be. So get up, go after those dreams, because guess what? You deserve them.